it up, Walter Egan.
Thank you very much. I moved to Nashville about 23 years ago, this coming August. And of course, as a songwriter, I came into town, a bag full of country songs. You'll hear at least one of those coming up. But to my amazement, as I brought the songs around through publishers, I was told my songs were too country. Wait a minute, is this Nashville? But I have persevered here nonetheless. And tonight I'm going to play you a couple of the tunes that Deb just mentioned for you. Back in the vinyl era, the first vinyl era, I did 5 albums. One of them was on Backstreet Records, which is Tom Petty's label. And the single from that album was a song called Full Moon Fire. A little song I wrote about kind of turning into a different person at night. And as an only child, and I kind of used the metaphor of being a werewolf. And so the word lycanthropy comes up in the song. I once was a fresh young kid, nothing could drag me down. I lived and loved what I did, no one could turn me around. I laughed and I joked with my friends, they don't suspect a thing. Alone in the light of the moon, a change comes over me. I couldn't stand this lunacy, feeding my dark desire. Looked at the nighttime sky, you fool, it's a full moon fire. Day after day, it's no use. At night, there's something changed. I just try to play it loose, be cool, but it's getting strange. I know I'll be long before the world can see. Alone in the light of the moon, my man, lycanthropy. The official term for werewolfism. I can't stand this lunacy, feeding my dark desire. Look at the nighttime sky, you fool, it's a full moon fire. Now my friend, you know, it's so hard to say. Sometimes darkness beats, it defeats the light of day. I can't stand this lunacy, feeding my dark desire. Look at the nighttime sky, you fool, it's a full moon fire. I can't stand this lunacy, feeding my dark desire. Look at the nighttime sky, you fool, it's a full moon fire. Full moon fire, full moon fire. Thank you. Thank you. I did a 2-week tour with Tom Petty when my biggest song was Being as Big as It Got. It was in September of '78, and we did alternating headliners every night. I would headline one night, he'd headline the second night, and back and forth and so forth. It was quite an interesting time. And Tom was a great artist, despite the fact that he called his album Full Moon Fever after I had that song on his label. But we'll let that go for tonight. This sour grape set that we'll do maybe another night. But my last title was this guy named Graham Parsons. Now, Graham Parsons came along and hijacked a band called the Byrds way back in the '60s. And the Byrds at that time were a psychedelic rock band. All of a sudden they put out this album called Sweetheart of the Rodeo, which took all of us hippies and rockers by surprise because it was unvarnished country music with the soul of country very much on view. And up till then, rockers kind of thought, Ringo sang a country song and it was kind of like a cute little thing. And in those days, the most radical thing a rocker could do was play country music. It was very polarized between the hippies and the rednecks, as we used to call them. I went to school in Washington, D.C. I went to Georgetown, and my band, Sageworth was the name of the band, we did gigs in the same circuit as a wonderful young woman whose name I'm sure you know, Emmylou Harris. Now, Emmylou and us got to be good friends. Emmylou was playing one night at a club down there in Georgetown. Chris Hellman, who was from the Byrds and also from the Flying Burrito Brothers, came in and approached her about his buddy singing with, needing a partner to sing with. And Emmylou didn't know who Graham Parsons was at that time, so I took her back to where we lived at Sageworth House, as it was called, and played Guilty Pals of Sin and Sweetheart of the Rodeo for her, and said, yeah, you should do this, Emmy, it's a good thing, you should do it. So when Graham came to town a couple of days later, they needed a place where they could try their voices on one another, and I offered my kitchen. And so the first time Graham and Emmy sang together, I was the audience in the kitchen. If you can imagine, it was this college kitchen where we painted the walls in tempera color, the dry color. You add water and paint the walls. There was a hole in the wall that, rather than fix it, we put a frame around it. And so this was the scene when Graham and Emmy first sang together. It inspired me, and I started trying to write serious country songs, and I was very fortunate that Graham and Emmy recorded the song that I wrote called Hearts on Fire, which I'm going to do for you now. Hearts on fire, my love for you brought only misery. Hearts on fire, put out the flame, set this cold heart free. One short year, our love had burned until at last, I guess you learned the art of being untrue, and then goodbye. What could I do except to cry and moan? Lord, what have I done? Once we were as free and warm as the golden morning sun. Hearts on fire, my love for you brought only misery. Hearts on set this cold heart free. Friends say it's just a game, and that no one is to blame. Go out, forget her lies, she'll be there, and sparks will fly. My love has turned daydream. Sleep escapes me still. God, please take this heart of mine. If you don't, the devil will. Heart so fine. My love for you brought on misery. Heart so fine. Put out flames, set this cold heart free. Heart so fine. Thank you very much. All right. So that was my claim to fame in 1974 when I moved to California. And I was lucky enough to land a record deal with Columbia Records. I had a 6-album deal on Columbia Records. And once I had that deal, I needed to find a producer to do my record. And I wanted, I thought maybe Todd Rundgren or Brian Wilson would be good. And I had done demos at the studio that's now become famous called Sound City in Van Nuys. And the engineer said, well, what about Buckingham Nicks? And I said, huh? Who's that? I didn't realize that these people were in Fleetwood Mac. I thought Fleetwood Mac was kind of a psychedelic band with Bob Welsh at that time. And they said, no, check them out. So I checked out the Buckingham Nicks album. I wasn't sure which was Lindsay and which was Stevie. Because, in fact, I thought Lindsay was Stevie and Stevie was Lindsay at first. But I got to know them a little bit better, and as I did, I thought they would be good producers, and they did produce my first album. And then also my second album was produced by Lindsay and Richard Dashut and myself. And on that second album, I was trying to score points with Stevie by recording a song that she had written called Sisters of the Moon, which I'm not going to play for you now. But as we were running it down in the big studio, Lindsay came out and went, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And I said, well, trying to score points with your ex-girlfriend. And he said, no, this is definitely not appropriate. Go home and write a song. So I went home, and it was the middle of the summer in LA, and it was very hot, and I started thinking about how great it was during the summertime in high school when we got to play music all the time. And so I wrote a song, simple song, around 3 chords, about being in bands and the camaraderie that builds when you're in a band together. All for one, one for all of that stuff. And we recorded it the next morning. Lindsay liked it, and it seemed to come out pretty well. It was a follow-up to the song you're going to hear next, which is my famous song. But at the time, this song was released. It's a song called Hot Summer Nights, and they released it, at the beginning of winter. And I thought, this is a bad idea. Why did you do this to me? And it didn't do as well on the charts that everybody hoped it would. The following spring, it was cut by a group called Night, N-I-G-H-T. And Night was on Richard Perry's label, the first act. And they had a big hit with it, top 10 and top 20 around the world. And all of a sudden, there were all these versions of my song about my band. There was a German version, there's a Japanese version, there's a Swedish version, Flat Summer Dog, I probably remember that one. And then the French version, Vin de l'Evla. Crazy stuff for 3 chords and a very personal song. But that wasn't the end of it. In 2009, I got a call from EMI Publishing, who held the rights at that point, telling me I had to approve a song that was about to be released as a single because it was based on my song Hot Summer Nights. And they played it for me over the phone. And it was the new release by the youthful rapper Eminem. And previously M&Ms were just my favorite candy, but they soon became my favorite rapper as well. So I'm going to do the original version of Hot Summer Nights for you. Was a time not too far gone. Now it's changed by just a song on the radio in the car with a pounding electric guitar. Then the time came to make us stand. We started up a 4-piece band, and the heat felt like spotlights in the hot summer night. Hot summer night. Return to me when times were best. We were friends and you passed any test. Sharing our hopes and dreams and goals. You know what I mean, the fundamental role. As we sang in the hot dark rooms, happy to play our tune. Felt good when we did it right. Felt good on a hot summer night. Hot summer night. Hot summer night. So it lives and it always will. The songs we've sung are in us still, ringing out loud and bright, like the stars on a hot summer night. Hot summer night. Hot summer night. Hot summer night. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Roger, you have CDs with you.
I do have some CDs with me, guys.
And how much are they?
Oh, tonight they're a mere $10.
So they just come out and talk to you.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm
Good.
very approachable. All right, so as we were doing that first album with Stevie and Lindsay, I found myself noticing, well, you know, Stevie had a certain charm to her, I have to say. And when a songwriter is smitten, what happens? A song gets written, yes. It's my motto. When I get smitten, the song gets written. And this song did pretty well for me. In fact, it continues to, which I'm forever grateful for. But the night that I wrote it, Stevie was doing the background vocals for a song of mine called Tunnel of Love, which was my most salacious of all songs. And I was quite moved, I have to say. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning as I was driving home on the Hollywood freeway. And a car pulled in front of me in what we used to call a pimp mobile. It had a diamond window and it had lights underneath it, and it, you know, it was very, very tricked out, as they say. And the license plate, I thought, was a message to me, and it said "Not Shy." And I thought, well, now there's a good theme for a song. And by the time I got home, I had pretty much finished the lyrics to the song. And feel free to sing along. It is a stroll, for those of you old enough to remember the stroll. I'd like to get all the gentlemen on this side of the room and all the ladies on this side. And we'll dance one couple at a time down the middle. Now I told you, so you ought to know. Take some time for a feeling to grow. You're so close now, I can't let you go. And I can't let go. With you I'm not shy. Show the way I feel. With you I might try my secrets to reveal. But you are a magnet and I am steel. I can't hope that I hold you for long. You're a woman who's lost to your song. Yeah, but the love that I feel is so strong. And it can't be wrong. With you I'm not shy. Show the way I feel. With you I might try my secrets to reveal. But you are a magnet and I am steel. For you are a magnet and I am steel. For you are a magnet, I am steel.
Love this song.
Thank you, Deb. Can I do one more?
I would love it.
Room for one more?
There's room for one more.
I do have CDs, and you can find videos of most of these songs on YouTube, on the World Wide Web, as they call it. And yeah, I forgot to tell you, the first song, the one about turning into a werewolf, I actually did a video for that. And in the video, I turn into a werewolf and I run amok in Silver Lake, LA, and eventually turn back to myself. And I was always amazed at the fact that this guy, Michael Jackson, I think his name was, came out with this video called Thriller 8 months later. Now, I don't know, I'm not saying that he stole my idea, but I think he stole my idea. I have been fortunate in my life to work with a lot of really good people, and as I get older. You know, I plan on living forever. And so far, so good. So, but some friends of mine have passed away in the last week. Buddy Cage, who was a pedal steel player in a band I played in called the Brooklyn Cowboys. He just died yesterday. And last week, a guy named Chris Darrow passed away. And Chris was really the door that led to all my success in California. He invited me to come visit him. He was a booster. He was a big brother. He was a mentor. And I'd like to dedicate this song to him. I'd like to thank you, Deb, for having me here tonight. And
Thank you for playing.
you can catch me with the Long Players next week on the 15th. We're doing a 70s show. In case you didn't catch all the words to some of these songs, you can hear them again. And this is a new song called Old Photograph. Photographs, looking at me, looking at you, right there on the desk, looking at me, looking at you, faces in a frame. What did they see? What did they do? Always seem the same, looking at me, looking at you, baby, think we live on and on. Photographs are all we are when we're gone. See that smiling face, looking at me, looking at you. Once it was my mate, looking at me, looking at you. Made of blood and flesh, looking at me, looking at you. Guess you know the rest. Maybe you think we live on and on. But old photographs are all we are when we're gone. Such a mystery. Once all mine, now belongs to history. Old photographs take me back to used to be. Such a mystery. Once all mine, now belongs to history. But old photographs take me back to used to be. Old photographs, looking at me, looking at you, right there on the desk, looking at me, looking at you, faces in a frame. What did they see? What did they do? Always look the same, looking at me, looking at you.
Walter Egan. What a dream. Go out and talk to him. Get a CD. You'll love it.